a new life, a new mission reborn, with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love reborn.
Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Nice to see everybody. This is Biscotti. He just got a haircut. Yes, say hello to everybody. No, they don't need to see you lick me. And the other one's eating his bone. So there you go. Oh, good golly, Mr. Molly. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. What a fantastic day. It is Tuesday, April 8th. Let me get situated here. We've had flurries, we've had rain, we've had tremendous winds, we've had sunshine and gloomy skies. We're getting the whole range. Just talked this morning about the fact that Mercury in retrograde is done. I don't know if anyone told that to Mercury. Just kidding. So welcome. Good day to everybody. And all right, you can sit. Behave. They've been feeling neglected because I was out for a little while today. And if anybody has a dog, I'm sure you've even seen some of the YouTube or TikTok clips where a dog's talking like, yeah, mom left me. I've been mistreated. I have had no food. I've had no water. I'm sure that's what's going through their minds. So a couple of things. Let's make some announcements while people trickle in. So this Thursday, we're going to talk about moving through with grief. And it's important to talk about it, mainly because how it impacts me. So this channel, I talk about my wounds and how I navigate through grief and how I feel stymied and sometimes paralyzed to make changes because, well, I'm stuck. And yet I'm moving forward. I feel guilty. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we navigate grief and then the anticipatory grief of someone you love who you know is going to pass. So that's Thursday. And there was another thought in my head. Oh, keep in mind that on April, where did I put my phone? If you were me, I found it. I need the calendar. I believe it's not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. I just want to be clear. Yes, we're going to be talking about the book. It's our first book club called Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And we're going to kick off the book club with the YouTube channel. And then depending on the interest, I'm going to do a Google Meet so that we can all talk about the book. I have some things that I want to share, some of my thoughts. I'll have some questions for you guys that I'll send ahead of time so that you can be semi-prepared if that's the right thing. It's not homework, but if you want to be engaged. And so we're going to talk about that. And so that's the 17th. So if you have a chance, please. And then following that, I'm going to be talking about tapping, a way to reduce some anxiety, something physical that you can do that will help you alleviate some stress and some tension and help refocus yourself through some tapping techniques. And then I'll be talking about another meditation. And then I hope May and June will be guest speaker time. I have some folks that I want to introduce to my channel that are not on YouTube or in the YouTube world. So I definitely want to introduce you guys to them and some of the things that they bring to a healing channel. And then I'm going to start tapping into some of my fellow creators here to be a guest on my channel. Oh, hello, Lindsay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad you could join us today. So today's topic is, we talk a lot, or I talk a lot about change and making improvements and adapting behaviors and changing the way that I think, the way I communicate. Now, just because I don't have a partner per se doesn't mean that people around me aren't impacted as I start to evolve and, change. And those of us that are in the, as Jimena would say, the hippy dippy world, those of us that are, my family was not aware of any of the topics that I discuss until I started talking about Reiki a couple of years back. Oh my God, it's been 10 years. Holy moly. So they always knew I did yoga, which they saw as exercise, and they were not threatened by it. And meditation, which again, I just channeled into prayer. Hold, please. Boys, we're not going to fight over the bones. All right. So if we're going to fight, you guys are going to go somewhere else. All right. There you go. Jiminy crickets. So they made me lose my train of thought. Darn it. Oh, so yes, meditation and learning just different techniques to be a participant in the world. I also hadn't been happy with how I was interacting with people and how they were interacting with me as a result. Oh, you're cooking? So yes, Brazy Tuesday nights with Josh and Laura B. It's a fantastic time if you haven't done it, Braze. So definitely go. Laura B's fantastic. I highly recommend it. So if I can make it tonight, I will. But our town is having this major town meeting, and I'm indecisive as to whether or not I'm going to go. But I'm just regrouping my thought. I was breathing, hoping that it would come back to me. Sorry, guys. It's been a day. So one of the things that as we evolve, as we navigate this new world that we're in, how is it reflected with other people? And you are going to have friends that come in and out of your life, right? People, excuse me a moment. I'm going to put you on mute so I can reprimand Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Oh, you would have thought I abandoned them all day. So, one of the things that I've had to navigate, I've had to relearn, and I was talking about it with a friend today as well, that some of the things that have hurt me, disappointed me, impacted how I saw myself, was in the reflection of others. Now, just because I wanted to host a party, or I wanted to host a cocktail event, or I wanted to participate in a gathering of some sort, I'm the common thread. I loved to host. I loved to bring people together. It's one of the things I loved most in the world. It's one of the things I loved when I was growing up. that my dad on Sundays would go play sports with the guys. He played softball. Now, what I didn't always respect was he invited people to our home and never gave my mom a heads up. So that was the disrespectful part, but I didn't see that. What I saw was the gathering of all of these people and the fun and the laughter, and I craved that my whole life. When I stepped back, for whatever reason, and it didn't come back to me, and I wasn't included, or it wasn't as important to someone else to sort of socialize in the way that was important to me, my feelings were hurt. Well, P.S., right? It's not really about them, it's about me. And as I started to look at myself and really dig deep and try to evolve, some of the lessons I learned are tied to our book that's coming up in 2 weeks. So, but it's also things that you learn through these kinds of channels, that through the four agreements, right? From other techniques that say, look, what you put out into the universe, you will get back in some form or another. It may not come to you in the way that you think. But when you are in a committed relationship and you start to evolve and you start to change, well, what does that mean to your partner? And I'm going to equate it, and I don't mean it to be as serious as it sounds, but it's the only thing that sort of popped into my mind a minute ago. It's kind of like you have two partners, both are drinkers. One decides to quit, but the other one is very happy and content with their activity. What do you do? How do you change? How do you, um, you know, keep within that relationship, or do you have to end it? You have to move on because, and this is through a couple of my friends that have been addicts of various kinds. They're like, look, just because you make a change doesn't mean everybody around you wants to make a change, can make a change, is ready to make a change. So that's one of the things that I wanted to sort of highlight today. Sorry, I'm really achy today. And so it's challenging, right? When you're blossoming and you're prepared to make a change, I think what's important is that we open the dialogue, right? That we share with whomever, whether it's friends, a significant, family, and explain what you're going through, the changes that you're sort of navigating through. What are your motivations for these changes? I want to be a better human being. I want to be able to be connected to my higher self. And I believe in that higher self. And I believe in the divinity of humanity in me. And then leading by example. So, I was one, and this will be shocking, that one likes to yell from the mountaintops, like, follow me, do this, it's fantastic. Sometimes actions speak louder than words. And your positive changes may inspire, whether it's your spouse, your significant, to evolve with you. Your family may get to know you better just by your behavior. So recently it was shared with me that in the presence of some family, everyone just saw me as being lighter. And I don't mean in girth, but in spirit. And there was a lightness to me. Well, so that's fabulous news for me, because you can't always see your reflection and what you're going through on the outside, right? And so for me, I didn't need to explain that I'm more at peace with who I am. I don't need anybody's approval regarding who and what I am and how I want to live my life. Um, and then some additional things is, sort of avoid pushing your journey onto somebody else. There's resistance there already. Maybe people don't understand who you are or what you want to do that's different. Um, and so by sort of pushing on them, you're actually doing the opposite and you're not inviting them in. And that's one thing that I think we have to be aware of. Find common ground. So, in the one example of not drinking, um, maybe it's Friday night is no drinking night or Thursday night is no drinks. It's just conversation night. Find ways in our evolution of communication. Well, what's a good way? Well, find a topic that relates to somebody and engage them in it and show how your demeanor is, um, and maybe talk about, well, you know what? I'm into this guided meditation. It keeps me calmer. It keeps me more centered. I don't feel so agitated. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not barking at you as much. That's a result of me just sort of being a little bit more quiet and thinking before I speak. And just remembering that the changes are about my personal growth, your personal growth. And I always think that I want everybody else to jump on the bandwagon. It's like, oh my God, you found this new exercise kick and you want to do this, upside down yoga that you think is going to be fantastic and it works for you. And I just would pause, And so one of the things that I want to ask you guys in the chat is, are any of you in a situation or any of you on this spiritual journey? And it doesn't have to be what I mean by spiritual, but are you engaging in something that the people around you are pushing back or they feel just off put by you? Is anybody else going through anything like that? And I'm just going to take a minute and just check the chat and have some tea. Doom, 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 doom. I feel like Vanna White. Do, 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 do. No, that's Jeopardy. Well, whatever. Let's see. Oh, great. So thanks, Millie. My journey has involved soul family that has been here, then not, and then some back and gone again. And I don't know if that's both literal and figurative. It's it can be, odd that you're this wonderful entertainer. I see you love to entertain. Yes, me too. And I get such giggles and pleasure from it. And for me, it's not at all like a hardship. I don't complain about the cooking and the cleaning and all the things, all the prep work. Don't care, love it. And the thing that would hurt my feelings the most is that you didn't have a good time. And I've always been the person that will go around from person to person to person to person. And I usually would keep it small and intimate because too many people at a party I'm hosting means I can't be a good host. And when I go to parties, I also don't like to go to large parties. It's too overwhelming. And energetically, now that I'm tapped into that and I'm sensitive to that, I'm like, whoa, it's too much coming at me. Yes, I ground myself and yes, I bubble myself. But, depending on your audience, it can be a lot. Unfortunately, lately, the kinds of gatherings I'm going to seem to be funerals. And I'm going to another one at the end of this month. A lovely lady that was part of, we call them the menopause mamas. Most everyone is older than me, but we were theater ladies together. And and she passed, and she's in the celestial heavens. She had a voice like an angel. Um, and so I'll get to see some of the familiar contacts, and that'll be fun. And I get to cook, I get to bake for this particular funeral. So definitely, um, when I get together with people, unfortunately, it's kind of a not always in the happiest times. Um, I think one of the things Victor says is people lashing out at me simply because I make them feel uncomfortable. And that's amazing. That's an amazing statement because that is so true. I have found that again, people don't know what to make of our demeanor, our behavior. If you're a little bit more chill or a little bit more thoughtful in your response, people don't know how to react to that. I think I shared last week that, or the week before, my neighbor went banana cakes on me. I'm going to make a t-shirt. Nobody steal that phrase, banana cakes. That's mine. And I backed off. I was like, no. And he didn't know what to make of it. He was still ranting, 5-10 minutes later after I left about the same topic. By the way, the situation he was complaining about has been resolved, and he made a big fool of himself over nothing. But it was my response that really ticked him off because I wasn't engaging. When you're in this, I have found when I engage, barking back and forth on a topic, and it's out of anger. It's one thing if you're, my family, we play games when we're together, and it can get very heated and sort of, adversarial and very snarky and funny. We think. Strangers may not find it as funny as we do, but if you're arguing over something or disagreeing, that's when I now back off. And it's not like I'm surrendering my point, but am I going to point an Uzi at you for something that I can't win? If you're not willing to listen and engage with me, I can't win. And so by backing off, am I not deflating? Am I can't think of the word, but am I diffusing the situation and maybe be able to come back to the topic, or do I not be able to talk about it? And look, I'm sure if any of you were like me, when it comes to our political structure here in the US, we don't just have two paths diverged in the woods. We have like miles apart. And that has not always been the case. And I love to discuss new ideas and different ideas, whether it's social, economic. I always had fun. And I have some really smart friends from college that I used to listen to, and they seriously are very, very smart people. And it wasn't that I wasn't smart. So I'm not negating my level of intellect, but there were things that I didn't have exposure to. So I couldn't have conversations. So for me, it was a learning opportunity. And I also got to learn, why certain things are important to certain groups of people. Right. So it was, for me, I just love that. But after my mom died, 2016, a new political world order came into being, and people took off their white hoods and came out, and vomit came out of people's mouths without any respect or consequence of what they were going to say. People were given permission to be mean and cruel, disrespectful, and ignorant. So, yes, I understand, Victor. People don't always get us. And that's what I'm learning, is to stand in my truth and in what I believe. And at the end of the day, That's what matters. But it does shift who comes into your circle, right? Now, let's see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So let me just get over to the chat for a second. Yes, my puppies are hysterical. Yeah, unfortunately, so I go with Victor here. I had a wide circle. Now, a lot changed when my mom got sick and I became her caregiver. I could not be as engaged with friends as I used to be. And that was both in my local area, and then most of my friends were in Boston, and I'm outside of Boston. And then she died, and I fell to pieces. And my grief process took a long time. And then I had my health issues. And so, you become further and further removed from that core. It doesn't mean they don't love you, and it doesn't mean they don't, they love hanging out with you when they get to see you. I pick up right where I left off with some of my girlfriends, and we have roaring riptide, hysterical times together. But I'm physically not near them. And that's hard. That for me, that's difficult. And I had many years of having great weekly dinners with my friends. So I had the benefit of it, and I mourn it because I don't have that community locally. And even if I did have it locally, my financial situation sort of prevents me from participating right now. I hope that'll change. But for me, my goal is to create my home again where it's not as cluttered. And I feel comfortable inviting people in and hosting again because I haven't done it in a long time. I see a lot of you guys are agreeing. Lindsay says, I agree with you, Millie. I've come to let go more easily by realizing we just fell out of alignment. Amen and hallelujah. Hey, Heaney, thanks for being here. And I think Tiff is here as well. And I think what we're noticing as humans, and as we evolve, we are more forgiving of those that disagree with us or aren't, they're not our cup of tea. They don't believe with what we believe. It's kind of like, well, you play football and I play basketball. You can't really combine the two. You have to do one or the other. And I think that's how people sometimes interact. Hey, Ben. Heaney says, Marianne Williamson once said that there is a thin line between bitchiness and murder, meaning unwavering love is the ultimate level to achieve. I don't remember hearing Marianne Williamson say that. I'm going to have to go and research which book that came from. But it does make sense, right? There is a line. There's a thin line. And there's also a thin line of accepting. Each of us are, it's kind of like we all march to the beat of our own drummer. I mean, we may hear the same tune and a different instrument resonates with us. I love the drums. Somebody else might like the guitar or a steel guitar or a piano or a whatever. Doesn't mean that it's not a fantastic song. Something different resonates with us. I think that's where the communication comes from. And it's also doing it in a way that we're not attacking the other person. What do you mean you don't believe this? Come on. It makes sense, doesn't it? Well, how can you not see that this is the right way to think, be, dream, talk, wear clothes? It's if you come off like that in someone's face, I can tell you what I do, and you can watch the walls, the brick walls, go right up in front, and then it's up here, and I don't hear, see, think, know anything else that you're saying. It's like Charlie Brown, wah, 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 wah. I don't hear you. So I think that, in communication, it takes us time to find the right attitude. Because when we're excited about something or we believe so fully, And I can only imagine back in the day when various religions were coming about and people were like, no, you really have to, you got to see this, man. It's awesome. And the message is this, that, and the other thing. And you really, great. But I've been doing things my way a long time. So is there another way that you could present the information to me? And that's what I've had to learn, because I get so excited about, oh my God, did you know this is happening? And did you know about this topic, or did you know about this idea? And now it's like, oh, when I'm in the garden, this is how I compost. That way I'm not telling you how to compost in your garden. I'm not telling you to do it my way. Here's my way of doing it. Doesn't make it better or worse. It's just different, right? So here's how I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Or these are my thoughts. What do you think? That way I'm engaging with you. I'm sorry. I got to put this up here. Ben Bacon Bits, in the story of creation for I can't even say that word. One of the biggest contributions to creation came from the muskrat, one of the smallest of animals. I forgot where I was going with that. Damn. Is that the Captain and Tennille's song, Muskrat Love? Oh my God, did you really say that, Heaney? You did. That's wicked funny. Oh my God, Brazy said the same thing. I didn't even go down there. That is a riot. See how connected this group is? And we get it. It's funny. No, Ben, we can't. I'm sorry. We can't combine them into an active new sport, football and golf. That would be funny, though, to see some people getting tackled on a golf course. Hey, Healing Through Song with John. Welcome, welcome. And I don't think I've missed anybody, and I hope I haven't. So please forgive me if I did. So back to sort of the topic, and actually the name Healing Through Song with John. So wonderful ways for us to heal, to show ourselves compassion, show ourselves comfort. We navigate these waters differently, right? I like to be in calmer waters. Some people like to be in the rush of the waves. And it makes sense to you. That's how you navigate. When we talk, know your audience. If you've lived with them or their family or they're your friends, odds are you know that if you come out into their face and say, you know, I'm blah, 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 this is how I feel, and I can't believe you don't feel this way, and we can't be friends anymore. That's not going to create warm fuzzies for conversation. I think if you change your tune and you find a new way to bring the music to the conversation, you'd be surprised at how people are receptive. Now, I know when I talk about Reiki, there's a glaze over people's eyes in my life. Not all, but most. They don't believe in it. They think it's woo-woo. They think that there's no way that it's going to do anything, and that I'm sort of circumventing their religious beliefs. Doesn't matter how many times they tell them Reiki has nothing to do with a religious belief. They feel like I am somehow pretending to be Jesus when I lay hands on someone, and that I am healing them. Well, I'm as far away from being holy as you can get. I know I'm not Jesus, but I do believe in laying hands on people. I feel the energy, don't you guys? If you did an accordion right now between the energy of your palms and your hands, and you bring it out, you can feel energy. As you bring it in, you can feel energy. There's energy within our hands, within our bodies. We vibrate energy. We are energy. And the simple act of putting my hand over a person, there's energy. And when I'm doing a Reiki treatment and I am conversing with you and then leave you in silence, all you're going to feel is my energy. And my energy is intermingling with yours. And I'm creating space for you to relax. And I'm creating space so that the traffic in your body, and because we live in Massachusetts and we're all familiar with the Mass Pike and the raging maniacs that think that it's, REO Speedwagon vroom, 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 with cars all over the place. We're the cop. I'm the cop. I'm creating space so that traffic moves, so that you get to heal inside. We already know that when you fall and you put your hand on your boo-boo, whether it's on your knee or wherever you fall, let's say you fall, you hit your knee. The first thing that you do is you grab it, you put your hand on your knee, you rub it. That's Reiki, for the love of God. You're creating healing and energy in that space. That's the purpose. When we talk about meditation, and that's why I like guided meditation. That's why I like Ben Carroll's sound bowls that he does with his voice as well. And Healing Through Song with John. If you've never heard of Ben Carroll, definitely, Brace, if you can think to put his channel up, that'd be great. He has this haunting voice that he does with these sound bowls that I find incredibly relaxing, that I now incorporate a form of chanting when I personally meditate. So it really, it's a vibrational thing for me. But in my conversation with people, I just say, look, when they ask me, I do these guided meditations. This is what works for me. And personally, I listen to sound bowls. It's another way of incorporating music into my life. And I think that finding ways to connect with people is important. And when you are really evolving and creating a real change that does impact your partner, that's when real hard conversations have to take place. And I think letting people see your vulnerability is critical. So keep that as an open item for you guys. Let's see. So Lindsay said, I like to remind people that I'm on their side. I like to build security if I can. And I think that's one of those ways of communicating with people that you like or love, is that you're not their enemy. I just see it differently. Doesn't make it right or wrong. And so, yes, we want people to feel safe. And I agree, Lindsay. I think however you're doing that is, maybe there's a lesson that you could share, because I think for me, look, it also is generational. I have a lot of seniors in my life. So they're hardcore in what they know and believe. Then there's my generation. And then there's this younger generation, which they have such an acceptance of different ideas. They may not agree with them, but there's an acceptance. And look, there's an acceptance of people being different. And it's not even a conversation of he, she, they, them, other in conversation, right? The older you when you start talking to older people, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? They, them, she, he, that. It's like, I don't know what that means. It's being open to hearing ideas. And these new generations of people coming up have new acceptance. That's what gives me hope for the future, is that The younger generation has their eyes wide open. They see things. They may be more willing to accept that there is life out there, that um, there are other ways of looking at things, that it doesn't have to be what your mom and your dad and your grandparents and your great grandparents have told you or shown you or lived. And I think that creating that is and having that open is a gift that the young people have given to me. And I'm not as often around them, but when I am, I'm like a sponge and I sit back and I'm like, okay. And sometimes they just like to throw a topic out and say, so what do you think about this? Now, I've gotten a couple of responses, but like one of my girlfriends, she has these young kids, well, young, they're in their 20s, smart, engaging. Um, they're the kind of kids that I love to talk to. There are other kids that just have no opinions. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And that's not for me to talk about. And I don't have kids, so I'm going to shut up. Did I see that Hockeytown John's in the chat? Did somebody say? Well, if you are, hello, hello, hello. Let's see. I just want to get to the chat and see if I. I like to float gently downstream. Facing the rapids is a younger man's pursuit. That is said so well. I think you just summed up my existence. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you for putting Ben Carroll in there. Hey, Mish. Mish. Dun, 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 dun. All right. All I just saw was earworms, so I missed a conversation somewhere, and I'm going to let it go. So, Tiff, yeah, we've talked about, I love to love people. That was one of the things that got me into so much trouble. And that's why my feelings used to get so hurt and I felt so wounded and rejected. I marched the beat of my own drummer. Things that I liked, other people didn't necessarily like. And so it's a lesson for all of us to engage and to do it gently and not to, I think the way for people to see things with an open mind is to just be the open mind. And it's not always easy to do. And I think that when we can't take it personally, and that's one of the 4 agreements, right? Oftentimes people's reaction, it's not about you, it's their limitation and it's their fear. So when we talk about Father Sky, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, people are like, what the F? They don't get it, and they don't have to get it. It's introducing the topic. Well, think about it this way. And allowing space for somebody to just find the beat to what you are talking about. And I've also come to accept some people just aren't going to. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to know about it. They don't want to talk about it. And that's when I sort of changed the channel. I can have conversations and I can even be in the presence of people who don't get me, nor do they want to have a conversation about me or my life. I still have to sort of be part of theirs if it's a family situation, right? So I have to navigate that. But I do not diminish myself and I do not take away my value. I'm kind of like, one of those treasured crystals. Oh, I have one here. I'm like a treasured crystal, right? It's got imperfections. It's got a crater in there. It's got a little crack over here. But I'm going to treasure this. This is me. I'm going to treasure me. You may not want to hold me in your hands, but I'm holding me in my hands. Does that make sense? I'm going to give me the love that I deserve. And I'm going to find the people in this YouTube community and hopefully out in the real world, people that will jam with what I have to say and know that we all are wounded. All of us have little children within us that have been hurt. Some less so than others. And amen to you. And I think that's fantastic. But life does knock us all down. It's how we get back up. And I think how we communicate with other people about our wounds. And you can ask for forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono, right? Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. The Ho'oponopono. You can express yourself, but then step back because not everybody is going to jam with what you're saying and not everybody cares. And that's not on me. And it's not on you. It's on them. And that's one of those things that we struggle with every day. And I think that I find that I've become a better listener than I ever have been. I think we learn more when we listen. And that is really an incredible gift that we can give ourselves because we learn things from that. When you listen, you hear what people are really saying, and you can almost identify their wounds and where it came from. And that may help you in your conversation with that person. It may not, and it depends on the situation. But I have seen things, but I also know that not everybody wants to hear from me. So I step back. Let me just quickly jump in. What is this? I think I'm missing something. Okay. All I saw was Russell Brand. Creepiest looking dude ever. Let's see. Never judge a person. Oh, where'd it go? I just had it. Hold on, people. I'm not scrolling right. Never judge a person for their walls. You never know just what it took for them to climb over and be present. Amen and hallelujah. And that's part of the 4 agreements as well. It's part of the laws, the universal laws of the universe. Until we walk a mile in someone else's shoes, we don't know what it took for them to get where they are. And it might take forever for them to even want to have a discussion. So it is just stepping back. Thanks, Mish. It takes people time to step back and say, I don't know, that this is just, it's too much. All right, so let me keep going. Thank you, Millie. I didn't know it was called a Druzy pocket. Pumping up the jam. Uh-oh, don't make me sing. Now I got it in my head. Yeah, Ben, we are children covered in scars. And We can heal them. Scars can be healed. And again, it comes back to my favorite thing to talk about when it comes to the kintsugi, um, that Japanese broken vase, that Ming vase that got shattered, and we are put back together with gold, right? We have been spun back, and it's just, it will never be that initial child, that innocent, pure child that came out of the womb. It just can't be. That's not our journey. But that doesn't mean that we can't be put together and be as beautiful or more so. Our journey is what makes us these beautiful vases or pieces of art. We are pieces of art. Everything about us, our conversations, um, our words, whether it's our appearance or not, who we are, how we feel, how we love, how we communicate, how we interact with each other. That's the healing journey. That's the Ming vase we're creating. That's, the kintsugi, let's just put it each gold piece in between every layer until we create this new vase, this new vessel that we are. Um, and I think that is one of the gifts that we can learn. Hey, Rick, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Hi, Ofty Hook. I don't know you. Blessings. Let's see. And again, I hope I haven't missed anybody. Dun, dun, dun. The last couple of days, I haven't been as active on YouTube, so I'm a little bit behind with everybody's channels. Please forgive me for not being as present in your chats. Yeah. Mish. I started out as the perfect package, but got messed up during shipping and handling. I'm stealing that just so you know. You should create a t-shirt, some merchandise that says that. I swear to God, you should. I'm not going to steal it in that case. Banana Cakes is mine, but I think you should, Mish. I 100% think you should. It's amazing when we start talking about these things, right? And how we all know that we, just because you get knocked down, how blessed are we? We get to have these conversations with each other. We are our community. And I was bemoaning for a long time that people didn't get me, but you're here. So something I'm saying is resonating with somebody. And my initial thought was, well, I'll just be talking to myself, but I do that anyway. So now I get to talk with people, and we have a common thread. And you guys may not always agree with what I'm selling or putting down or whatever the new lingo is, but we are building a community, and there's a camaraderie. And I don't have to know your specific story, and I am interested in hearing it, but I don't have to know it to know that you're beautiful. I don't have to know it to know that you're valued. I don't have to know it to know that I'm grateful you were born and that you're here. That doesn't matter. And we've all made mistakes. And, so none of us are above reproach in our lives. If you want to go the Catholic way, none of us are without sin. So that means that, this environment we're creating, it's in love. It's all about acceptance and healing and making you feel like what you deserve, that you're loved and valued. And how freaking lucky are we that you're here? How lucky am I that you guys are all here today? Please don't think that I don't have a sense of appreciation and gratefulness, because I really had no idea what was going to happen in my world, and with this YouTube channel and the people that I want to engage with and the conversations that I want to have with people. It's hugely important to me, because once 2020 happened with COVID, we've all scattered and we've all created new boxes to put ourselves in. And I'm finding that it's more difficult to come out of the shadows and have conversations because of the rejection. And now I'm not afraid of the rejection because it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as important, but it's how I see me and my thoughts. I just am excited that I get to talk about them. And I also don't mind having a discussion and having differing opinions. I don't know if I missed a conversation, but Ofty Hook said, there's a reason there's a period at the end of a sentence. Don't make it a comma. It resonates with me. And then this is made a song about Kintsugi hearts built back in the village. Oh, I want to hear it. And I don't know if you've shared that with me. I don't think you have, but Mish, I definitely want to hear it. All right. So let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I talked to myself for 10 minutes the other day. That's wicked funny. So I do it all the time. And one of the things that I'll share with you before we end today is I was with a friend today and I said, look, she has to have a conversation with somebody that has been in her life for a long time. And there's anticipation of a reaction or what's going to happen. So I said, here's a chair. Talk to the chair like you're talking to that person. And I've done this, by the way. It's how I navigate conversations with certain family members before it happens, because I can get stuff out before I stumble on my words and say things that I might regret. And I don't want to have regrets. So it's like, sit there, kind of like Tiff did. And I like me. I'm a good person. I'm funny. I crack me up. I crack my dogs up, and if you would see them, you know, their constant expression is, and they just, they don't know. They're like, Mama's talking. I don't know what the hell this woman's saying, but she's talking. And Ben's like, that's what I love about Bluetooth. I can talk to myself, and those I work with think I'm talking on Bluetooth. Oh, Ben. Thank you, guys. I really needed these chuckles today. That's hysterical. And I have found my tribe. Thank you, John. I do. I feel like I've found my tribe, and I have been searching for a long time. And so I'm so grateful and appreciative that you guys are all here. And just before we start to sign off, and I see a whole bunch of people are in the chat. So please, again, if I missed anybody, please, 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 please don't take offense. I love you all. But I'm going to just scroll down and just share. So Thursday, we're going to talk again a little bit about grief and how we move through it and how it's impacting our lives. And I have some pearls of wisdom from my favorite teacher, David Kessler. So we'll talk about that. And then the following Thursday, it's our first book club meeting with the book Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And depending on how well it goes, in the future, I'll set up a Google Meet so that we can face-to-face talk about the book. The initial kickoff of it, I have some thoughts. And beforehand, I'm going to send to you, yes, Victor, at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And so I'll send out some questions beforehand. It'll be in the description of the video. And I'm going to try to schedule some of these out ahead of time. I was struggling doing that on Restream. I flubbed something up. So another lesson I'm going to learn. So I can plan these out in advance so everybody knows the topics, because I think I love the Let Them theory. And so I have some things to kick off in that conversation. So come if you have some questions. be prepared to chit chat. And then I definitely want to set up a Google Meet. And then we're going to talk about some of the other books that I want to chat about. And just for those of you that are new here, please at the end of the video, send me, make a comment of some of the books that you really have impacted you. And maybe we can put it in our book club Rolodex. I had talked about Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, and I'm drawing a blank on the other two books that I wanted to talk about. And then I'm also going to do a trauma journal, if you will. It's not really a journal, but they're questions to trigger things on how we can move through events that have happened to us. So with that, I know that we are at time. I hope that you guys heard the intro song. And I'm gonna jump out with that song as well. But it means a lot to me. It's sort of my journey on, me, how when I died, I was sort of reborn, and would love to get feedback on it because it means a lot to me personally. So having said that, guys, as always, thank you for being here. And may you be blessed with love, with light, with healing, with compassion, with friendship, with community, sprinkled with laughter, joy, and giggles. Until the next time we are together.
One day, on a cold January day, life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn. I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the coming tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I wanna do. I know what I wanna be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny, with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn.